Hi everyone, my name is Manny. I am here with ESTNN. I am joined by Coach Bjergsen after TSM's defeat to Team Liquid in the first round of the mid-season showdown. Bjerg, how are you? How is the team taking this after a loss that might have been not expected for you guys?
It's never going to be fun losing. We also just barely lost not even too long ago, so we haven't really had too much time to talk, and I want to give the players a little bit of time to also just rest and reflect on themselves before we regroup. So it really sucks. Luckily, we still have the lower bracket run as an opportunity, but yeah, I think TL played well. They prepared well, especially for the final draft. I think their draft was really strong against us, and we just need to prepare better and play better on the day.
Of course. Kind of taking a step back, this is your first split as a coach. Even though a lot of times talking to Spica, he said that you've been coaching the team the previous year. Kind of how would you review your first split? Have you been learning a lot? Obviously this is just your first opportunity to showcase in playoffs, but how has this been for you?
I've definitely learned a ton, as probably people can tell from how this team was very early on to the team that we have become now or later in the regular season. We're definitely a much stronger team. I think that our drafts are a lot more cohesive. Obviously, best of five is kind of a different beast where I have little to no experience. We had one best of five against Cloud9 back in lock-in, but we just really had no idea what we were doing at that time and what worked for us and what style and champions and everything was very new and the meta wasn't very figured out. But this is really valuable. I don't want to say practice, but learning from me.
Yeah, of course.
These best of fives, because you can't prepare for every single scenario. Things are going to shift a lot throughout the series, and the adaptation is really important. Anticipating what the enemy team might do is really important. And yeah, I'll definitely do better in our next series.
Of course. And with that, leading up to your first split, a lot of people had no doubt that you would succeed. Every time anyone asked that question, it's like, oh, Bjergsen is going to be one of the best, if not the best, if he continues his trajectory. Did you feel that that was kind of like added pressure? Do you even care, or even like listen to people saying that, or were you just focused on doing your thing, just trying to get the best out of the team?
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but of course, no one really knows what I do or don't do within the team as a player or as a coach. I could have had a lot to do with the team's improvement. I could have also had very little to do with the team's improvement.
Right.
You never really know, but yeah, I think it just feels very similar to when I was kind of a new player. It's just a very exciting new role for me, and I get to learn a lot, and I get to have a lot of new experiences. So I think just that's really exciting for me because that really motivates me to learn and put the time in and really grind and figure out how I can keep improving as a coach. So yeah, it just reminds me a lot of my early player days. Going into playoffs, I was really nervous in my first series. I was nervous going into this series as well, and how well I would do in draft and adapting. I think I did okay on some fronts, and I made a good amount of mistakes as well. So I'll keep working on it.
Yeah, I think it was last week. Very notably, you put my B after the EG game. Is drafting one of those things that you focus purely yourself? We know you have Curry, you have K's, as support staff, probably many others, of course. But is that something that you have a final say, or are you talking to the players kind of like as if you were a player, or is it like, all right, coach, what am I picking here? And you're like, this is exactly what I want the composition to look like.
In preparation, I talked with both Curry and the players a lot, and we try to get on the same page about what we want to do. But of course, you can never anticipate all the different bans that they might throw at you. So when we're in the game, a lot of the time the final say will be on me, and I need to know what we need for the team comp. Sometimes I make good decisions. Sometimes I make decisions like I did against EG, and I am really open to taking responsibility for that. I think that the role of a coach is really understanding all of your players, understanding the enemy players, and also understanding both team comps and what our team comp needs, while still also looking out for things like How many winning lanes do we have? Are we able to contest early objectives? And there's just a lot of things to consider. And I think that's why it's just really important that I have a deep understanding of our team and I'm able to make those kind of last second decisions. And I think that's really exciting and a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, of course. And now taking a deeper dive into the series, obviously, you know, you just said you haven't really talked to the players, and that's completely understandable. But the first game, it really seemed like you guys came out the gate swinging. You were in control for the majority of it. You've been a player as well, obviously, suffering some of like upsets and such and causing them. What was the team's mentality after that first game? Was there any like sort of tilt, or was it kind of like, oh guys, we know exactly where we messed up. Let's just get them in the next one?
It was pretty calm. I think we had a pretty good idea of what we wanted to change, and it was just one of the situations where we misplayed some of the later fights that could very easily swing the game in one way or another.
Of course.
It was definitely different for me figuring out how to adapt, and also since we have such a large delay for the coaching staff, I didn't even get to see the ending of the game because we're having such a long delay from the staff side. So but once I got to really watch the end of the game and talk to all the players and get their thoughts, we just kind of calmly talked about what we want to adjust. I think in hindsight that adjustment probably wasn't the best, but I really like the way that we tried to adapt into the later parts of the series, game 3 and game 4. And I think this series was really helpful to really understand how we want to draft on this patch. We're going to be on this patch for a while during playoffs, and a lot of the time playoffs is about who has the deepest understanding of the patch and know how to kind of use the patch to set up their team for success.
Of course. And it did seem obviously that the shift in game 2 was kind of going very aggressive. We kind of saw Power of Evil in a pick that not many people associate with Power of Evil in the Lucian. Was that kind of like the intention? Let's try to, you know, grab them and make them second guess themselves, kind of go very aggressive, or was there more to it? Obviously picking the Rumble alongside that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we got a really strong kind of bot side 3v3 and matchup for our bot lane, and we got a really big lead around bot lane early game. That was a lot of our adaptation, really getting our bot lane in a comfortable and happy situation where we knew the matchup, we knew we were going to win it. But obviously, we just made too many mistakes. Huni dying while we were getting Dragon is a pretty big one. Rumble is a champion where the margin for error is pretty small. You really have to play cleanly. And he plays well on the champion individually, but he did make a mistake dying while we're getting Dragon. And then we made a mistake not upkeeping tempo on bot lane. We ended up losing Rift Herald. And when we're playing such a strong early game team comp, we're playing Udyr, Lucian, Rumble. We really need to be the team that's getting Dragon, getting Herald, getting the next Dragon. And we just really weren't crisp in the early game. Which is why later on in the series you saw us falling back to a little bit more of having a lot of engage options and a little bit more scaling, because I think neither team was executing very well in the early game, and a lot of it was coming down to the later game team fights.
Right, and you know that last game, obviously it was a very drawn out game. Some people were feeling like, is TS, they're still in it? You know, are they actually going to pull off? Was that kind of like the feeling as well, or you know? Is there a point where you go, you know, this is just the upper bracket run. We still have lower bracket. It's okay. Let's reset. Go on to the next weekend of games.
I would say about 9-10 minutes in, I knew that the game was lost. Just losing the Herald fight and Gnar getting the full turret top, as well as them having Gnar and TF having so much side lane pressure, and TL utilized it well. They didn't get caught or team fight unnecessarily. They were playing pretty diligently through their side lane pressure. And of course, I was hoping that TL would mess up, but they played their comp really well. Jensen and Afari played very well with their champions, and they had Tactical on Sivir, who's one of the harder champions for us to engage on. She has Spell Shield and the ult to run away from Olaf. So I think both their draft and their play in that game was just really good. Kudos to TL in the game 4.
Of course. I actually had just spoken to Ja, and he did mention that, you know, obviously both of you guys finished the series, finished the regular season, you know, or the spring split even. So a lot of people were expecting this to be maybe even a closer series. Was that kind of like always the feeling? Did you guys feel very confident thinking it was going to be like a 3-0 and like sort of like that, or was it always like, yeah, this is going to be a close series, it's a best of 5 like you had mentioned earlier, it's a different beast, let's take it one game at a time?
Mm, it's just really hard to say because I think best of fives you can't really predict
Right.
very easily one way or another, especially when the teams look so close. I don't think we showed very strong preparation or execution today. I don't think TL is at a different level than us right now. I think there's a good chance we'll do the lower bracket run. Hopefully, we'll meet them again later, and we'll really show them what we're made of.
Yeah.
But I went into today definitely thinking that we're going to win. Not a 3-0 because I don't think TL is some kind of fallover team, but
Right.
I do think we should have been a lot more competitive than we were today.
Of course. And um just to go on looking into next week's preparation of EG, obviously you kind of have a week to look forward to and play. Um, do you guys really get like any sort of break, or is it tomorrow immediately into scrims and really ironing out the things that you need to iron out for the next series?
We're definitely going to take a day off. I think it's just really helpful for the players and also just have everyone watch the games. We'll watch the games as staff and really reflect on them and talk about them as a team. These kind of losses are heavy, even though we still have a chance to go deep in playoffs. But we have 7 days, so taking a day off, I don't think is
At the end
going
of
to
the
harm
world.
us in any way. I think that's somewhat what the players need. They'll get to watch the series tomorrow, watch back some of our games, relax in the way that they need to, and then we'll be back in the office and preparing hard for EG.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of TSM fans know how good the team can be in lower bracket runs. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the fans? Are we gonna see Zillion anytime soon? You know, like, or is any
Oh
of this?
man, yeah, I think Speaker kind of cursed us. He did say that, oh, there's a lower bracket. I guess we're gonna make the lower bracket run, and that's where we are.
Yeah.
Honestly, I believe more in this current iteration of TSM than I did of my team in summer split. I'm very surprised that we ended up winning. That really just shows how much you can improve in a short period of time. I think our preparation coming into this match didn't really turn out the way that we had expected, and now we have a much more realistic idea of how we should prepare. We also know EG very well. We know how they play. We know how they want to draft. So I feel good going into the match against them.
Yeah, we also know Huni still has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to really prove to his old
Oh, yeah.
organization what they're missing. But kind of to finalize everything, obviously, asking a coach, you know, his ambitions are always going to be that the team's going to win everything. You guys are going to be champions. Is it really just there, the ambitions for TSM? Is it just reaching worlds? Or are you guys really wanting to take this one step at a time because it's a completely new iteration of, you know, TSM that we've seen before?
Yeah, I mean, I think I really just take it 1 week at a time. Of course, our goal is to win Worlds. Of course, our goal is to win
Right.
LCS twice and win MSI. But I think talking about it, it doesn't change anything. The
Right.
players know that our goal is just to win
Of
our
course.
next match or our next each game, right?
Yeah.
So that's really just our focus right now. Whatever we need to do to win that next game, because that's how we're going to become the team that's going to win LCS. That's going to go to Worlds and MSI and do well. So right now we're definitely not there, but I think that we have the right ideas and we know what we need to change going into next week. So yeah, I mean, right now the next step is just EG, and then we'll worry about the
What's
finals and
after
MSI
that?
Worlds and all these
Yeah,
things when we get there.
of course. Thank you so much, Bjergsen. Best of luck at the rest of playoffs. Hopefully, we see you make that lower bracket run that Spica memed about. Is there any last things you would like to say to TSM fans that might be listening, might be watching?
I know it sucks watching us lose. I really hope we get to play TL again and get the revenge for you guys. I know this was a hype matchup and we didn't really deliver this time around, but I know what we did wrong. I know what we did wrong leading up to the matches. the mistakes that we made and I made during the series, and we will do better, and I'll do better to give you guys better results.
Well, thank you so much, Bjergsen. Best of luck in playoffs. And
Thank you.